My wife says should be Cancer.
Oh, okay. Her psychic is I mean is wrong already. Her psychic. Okay.
Sorry, Sifu, the new class starts when?
New class. Anyone can check for me. Wait, let me see first. Okay. You mean the Abhidhamma, right? Abhidhamma, right?
No, you say start with the other one, not Abhidhamma.
Abhidhamma is the new class.
And the history of Buddhism.
Because I try to I advertise one by one, so I try.
Okay.
Of course, one by one. People confused, so I make sure already enough. Good I feel good to respond with Abhidhamma. Then I come up with the second one. That's why.
I thought I saw the advertisement for the history in Buddhism, but not the Abhidhamma yet.
You really got hallucination, Elena. So big. Buddhism and psychology. How come will be history? The compendium of Abhidhamma, so big the word. You don't see the brain.
Okay.
The whole brain, of course, is Abhidhamma. Where got history? Okay.
Traveling, Sifu.
Okay. Okay, so let's continue. Let me try. I must finish this.
Yeah.
Okay, please come. Let me check my page. Why my let's see how it seems always make wrong. 195. Okay, let me go 19.
Verse 109.
No. Our page number is a little bit different now. I have to use my one. Okay, 108 verse. Am I right? Yes. Correct. So 108 we start with the. Okay. So a class in the very beginning.
Today should be 109.
109. Let me check.
Yes.
Today starting 109.
109 Okay. My bookmarks recently always go wrong. Arahan already. It's our dream. Okay. Let me do a little bit of recap. So class basically this part is the last part. Number one is the Srotapan. Srotapan meaning to say is an entry. We call it usually we call it as a new entry. Basically enter to the stream. So basically once you become enter to the stream, the defilement will be removed. For example, it's the doubt to the triple gem. Okay. Then second is the self. Okay, the wrong way of the self. And the third one is the wrong practice. So we are totally removed. And then we will have 7 times to come back. As a human and the deva, all right. So this we call it as the Srotapan. So second is Srotapan. Second is Sadagami. So Sadagami basically not much thing change. Just some defilement have been reduced. So the third one is the Anagami. Anagami basically have been the anger have been removed. And they will reborn to the in the fourth jhana, in the Sudavasa. So that is the third. For the third one, the Anagami. So today let's continue with the Arahana. Yukwa, can you please read the passage?
One who completely cuts off all confusion is called an Arahat. Previous karma is ended. And new karma is not created, nor is any condition for rebirth and death provided. The sages who realize the true Dharma and cuts off the confusions of understanding, this person has knowledge and understanding that are absolutely correct. But the power of attachment towards circumstances is still strong. Such a person may therefore stop practicing or be reborn as a human or divine being and forgets the past. But the confusions of practice will naturally shrink, just as a tree once uprooted will wither. The potential power of the noble way will certainly grow, and one will advance again. In this process of further practice, whether one is walking, standing, sitting, laying down, dressing, eating, talking, remaining silent, being slender or praised, gaining or losing, growing old, getting sick, or dealing with people and affairs. In all these circumstances, one can summon right mindfulness, be constantly attentive, and practice continually. In this way, one can gradually and completely eliminate the confusions of practice that are based on desire and attachment. This is the case from the second fruit onwards. When all confusion is ultimately cut off, one realizes the fourth fruit, arahatship. This is accomplished either through continuous practice after one has attained the first, second, or third fruit in the present life, or through being reborn in the higher realms with the rise of the noble way when one dies after being an anagami. The Sanskrit term arahat means to receive. This means that these sages truly receive offerings from humans and divine beings. It also means that one is without rebirth and a slayer of the enemy, which means that having reached this stage, one has killed all the deaths of the officials and will not have any more births or deaths. In short, this is the highest fruitions in the eradication of officials and births and deaths. The philosophers describe these officials as eliminated in the two realms of form and formlessness. In the sutra, the Buddha said that when the five upward moving bonds are cut, one becomes an arahat. The five upward moving bonds are greed for forms, greed for formlessness, redness, arrogance, and ignorance. The first two are greedy attachment to the realms of form and formlessness. The remaining three, redness, arrogance, and ignorance, might also be differentiated according to these two realms. But since the confusions of practice arise only from defiled desires, only the first two are divided according to the two realms. These five bonds cause sentient beings to be born in the upper realms. Once these bonds are cut, all the afflictions fighting one to the three realms are ultimately servers.
Okay, thank you so much. Tama, please, once you finish highlight, Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong. Okay, thank you so much, class. Sometimes we may curious, what happened to Arahant if we, let's say we achieve, because now we try to say, we try to tell people that basically all are achievable. Okay, so the way I see, maybe I can make an analogy. Let's take a look. Here, I want to mention something, maybe hopefully can encourage Elena to join the December meditation together with Mr. Leong, or Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong. Okay, what I would like to say, let's take a look, class. The way the world we see, not through the eye, but through our brain. Okay, so you see, this is the kasina. So this kasina, through our lenses, okay, of the eye, it come to our retina. All right, but the reflection of retina means nothing for us. It has to, the information should be electrically or chemically channeled to our this occipital lobe. So in the occipital lobe, whatever appears in the occipital lobe, we will know that the shape and the color, and with the once the neuron connect this part to our prefrontal cortex, we start to interpret the meaning of this. Something we see But anyway, once people keep on meditate, all right. So let's say you observe the breath, okay. So once you attain certain quietness in your brain, especially in the third eye, we call it as kind of glance, so the light will appear there. We call it as a nimitta. So nimitta will from uga nimitta, from counterpart side, we begin from a very learning side and mature become counterpart side. Basically, once you reach the first jhana, you are not able to see, you don't see things, you don't hear the sound, you don't smell. Why? The reason is class, take a look. So this is a different part of the brain who are responsible to our to our five faculties. You see, so class, this is the touching. This is our brain. Okay, whatever we touch, it will reflect this part of the brain. Okay, whatever we taste, it will reflect in this part of the brain. Whatever we see, it will reflect with this part of the brain. Whatever we hear, it will reflect in this part of the brain. And whatever we smell, it will reflect in this part of the brain. If let's say all different part of the brain have been occupied by our nimitta, so meaning to say that you don't see, you don't hear, you don't smell once you reach the first jhana. That's why in Visuddhimagga clearly stated that once you reach the first jhana, basically any thunderstorm or even though people make any coffee or whatever, you won't be able to feel it. So that is the definition for the first jhana. So quite clear nowadays with the neurology, the development of neurology system, we can easily explain this. We need to say your whole nimitta occupy the whole brain. So that's why even though your organ is still living, but you can't feel it. So the way we see that as Arahant, maybe they are always the heart, the brain is different already. Especially once the nimitta occupy the brain, then we will use the skill we call as vipassana. Vipassana is the skill we will try to destroy the illusion of the time and the space. Basically, time and space, it is created by our mind, especially in this part. Our brain, this is the part. So once the nimitta is getting bigger, stronger and stronger, it will make this part temporarily malfunction. That's why the people, once they enter to the jhana, they don't have the perception of the time and the space. So that's the reason why. Then, through the knowledge of the vipassana, we start the skills. So meaning to say that the thing what we preset before, we'll use the vipassana skills to see it, we magnify it, we dissect it. So that this is and then from here we continue to analyze the small particle. For example, like the atom of the body, we call it as a kalapa. We will magnify it. We see they got different components. Then we for each one component, we will see the function for each one. So from here, we already break the compactness of the time, because in the beginning, our heart and our physical body, our nama and rupa, they are continuous rise and fall very fast without realizing it. So now, with the power of the samadhi, we're able to stop it. We see one by one. So we break the compactness of the continuity. Then we take one of the kalapa as an example, we magnify it. And we see that it comprises from different of the component. So we go to the second, we break the compactness of the combination. So from the compactness of the combination, each one, they have a different function. So we break the compactness of the function. So that's we call it as a purification of the view. Then from here, we check out the cause, where do they arise? So sometimes we have to trace back in our past life. So that's why we bring back the paticca. Then from here, again, we go to observe the anicca, dukkha, anatta for our nama and rupa. So once you observe this immature, the nibbana will arise. So the way we see, in a simple way, whatever we do, we try to re-educate our brain so that to see the thing in the correct way. Because now we're always in ignorance, basically meaning to say that we don't see things in the real way. So that's why we were attached to it, we were angry, we were frightened for losing it, all defilement come. But once we go to that stage, to the jhana, then we shift to the vipassana, and we use the skill to review all these things again, so they are not beautiful. All are very, rise and fall. They are very ugly. This is a truly ugly, ugly in truth. Then no more attachment. So Elena, basically, what happened? You bring your sira nimitta. Sometimes due to the past life karma. Be confident. It's possible. Please go with Mr. Leong. Go and meditate. Because if you don't meditate, don't try to experience what we mentioned here. We end up become an academic only, just a knowledge only. You have to transform the knowledge, become experience, and try to overcome. Maybe you got problem in sitting on what looks beautiful, right? So this theory all is stated in Abhidhamma, Before I go through the class, I tell you that is the step mentioned in Abhidhamma, but there's more technical. So Elena, please consider it. If possible, maybe with Sally, both together, and then join Mr. Leong group, go to the park out, maybe 1 month or maybe shorter a little bit time. Try to use your nimitta, to receive the world. It will be very good. That is our destination. So Elena, consider it Hopefully you haven't started your traveling in December Hopefully So that is the this is the more I think this way to explain the jhana is very convincible, and we make full use with the modern the science to explain it. For example, class, if you are still unclear regarding certain things, Google can help a lot. I noticed that. For example, class, you see. For example, now I want to verify which part of the brain play roles to create the illusion of the time and the space. So we just do it this way, very easy nowadays with the help of Google. See, so you just put a time and space. You see a time, space, and the brain. I searched this before. So here you see what part of the brain controls space and time. And here we'll see this is the posterior parietal cortex. So where is it about? So simple. We Google it again. Then we try to look for the image. So this part of the brain, see or not? So this is the stem brain. This is the prefrontal cortex. So this is here. So meaning to say it's somewhere here lah. Plus we can touch somewhere here. So meaning to say once we enter the jhana, our jhana, the nimitta, will suppress this part of the brain, so you don't have a sensation of the time and the space. Very beautiful. But I don't know, Elena prefer traveling. It is beautiful for you or not, or you become ugly without time and space. Am I right? For people who prefer travel, because all the beautiful spot is something to do with the time and the space. But now we remove it for you. So all your money just keep for a retreat and donate to the temple only end up. Okay, so this is how you can further study to understand it yourself better lah. Because here the way I see English class people more analytical mind. You want to know a reason why the thing happened, so we can explain very well. But don't query much. If let's say you do the Western Pure Land or the Eastern Pure Land, don't query too much, because the confidence built based on some time to not very fully understanding for the Pure Land. The more you ask, sometime your confidence will gone, you know. So you have to know what method you deal with, then the attitude has to change a little bit. You know, simple mind people more easy to choose the Pure Land, because they won't ask many. The more you ask, the confidence will gone. But here, just ask, we will answer you, and then you will build more confidence for this. You know, what happened in the brain, everything is explainable. Okay, get it? Okay, so this is how you will know. So maybe we can try to imagine if you are Arahant, I think the brain structure has been changed already. Nowadays, they will use the ECG or ECG, they put on the brain. So they notice during the meditation, actually the brain is not dead. It's even more active than usual. And it grows in a very positive way. The gray matter is even stronger and stronger, according to the recent scientific research. So that's why if Mr. Long, Mrs. Long, you really meditate very well, there's no way dementia will happen. There's no way. No way it will happen, because your brain is so active and also is properly, trained. No way dementia will happen to you. Okay. So we have to meditate hard. I also frightened for dementia. Okay. So let's take a look. Now we go to this. But just one thing to remember, if you go to the very conservative Theravada or Theravada temple to meditate, sometimes they will criticize. They say, oh, Mahayana is not the real Dharma, it's not the real Buddhism. Then it happened that people come back after learning, they don't respect us anymore. So avoid this. Just go and learn their method. Don't bother this type of conflict or controversy. Don't bother it. Okay, don't bother it. Because sometimes, because we learn the history of Buddhism, we know there's a different school and why they split out. Okay, but they don't know. Basically, they don't study all this. For them, they think they are the genius one. So all the rest maybe just fake news, something like that. They thought we are the counterfeit money. Some they will see this way. So just don't bother this. Go to learn the method. Okay. So I want to do some injection to you all first to immune from all this type of controversy issue. Okay, next let's take a look. So we roughly understand how use the brain to explain how it works. But of course, class according to some different school. Basically, brain, I think brain is the major organ involved. But once you study Abhidhamma, basically once we talk about the base, we'll say it's in the heart. Why? The reason is Abhidhamma commentary mentioned that the base is necessary, the material is necessary, especially the base for whatever consciousness to arise. Okay, and then they say 76 out of 89 of the consciousness is arise through the base hataya, heart base. But the heart base, so the commentary will comment that it is in the heart. But this is a commentary view, not necessarily true. But I think in ancient time, people they don't have knowledge regarding the brain. So I think we must have a little bit breakthrough to explain this type of the jhana state to make it more reasonable. So that's why I think except you met a more modern open mind monk like us, we interpret in a more reasonable way, which is acceptable by modern people. Right? It's very something to do with the brain, because something wrong with the brain, your character start will change already. So just make sure you protect your brain very well. Before meditation, please take more omega-3. It helps a lot with the brain, especially the neuron. And then do more exercise. Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong, if you go before the retreat, possible, make some time. Even walking fast is the best one to produce the fruit to nourish your brain. So I think with the good preparation for the brain, you can meditate even better. Okay, so this is from the science of the brain. Then let's see. Okay, here, once we talk about the four arahatship, what we focus is the definition number one, arahant. Arahant meaning to say we deserve receive offering from the human and the divine being. Basically, according to Nikaya, once you become arahant, you will be no more to stay. Just remain the status as a layman. No more. Basically, you wish to become a monk, according to the. It's according to the Nikaya. Okay. The reason is so that's why arahant, the definition is killing all the affliction. And one more thing is you will deserve for being offered by all the human and the deva. Okay. Well, I got one friend. He had been offered by the deva before. So he mentioned to me, actually it's in the Mahayana repentance session. So everybody go out for lunch. He just continue do the repentance. He says suddenly he saw one rice come out. I remember he saw a deva offer her the rice, and then the rice wrapped by the leaf. So the leaf automatically open, and then she just go and smell it. 3 days without no need to eat any food. He said, wow, this is so wonderful. I believe his statement. It's not necessarily he bluffed to me. So meaning to say that if he is not arahant yet. So meaning to say if one will become an arahant, the deva will come to offer us. So that's why arahant, the definition arahant means deserve for being offered. Okay. All right, so number one. Secondly, we will talk about the five upper bond will be removed. What does it mean, five upper bond? Because this is the fifth one, make us reincarnate. Upper bond means what? Form and the formless. Maybe the different word we call it as a fine material and immaterial state, a form of formless. So basically, this is the bond. We have the attachment to the form and the formless. So meaning to say, once you reach arahant, you have to remove the attachment to the form and formless attachment. You have to remove it because our self is very tricky. Once you try to meditate, you want to remove the self attachment, but you yourself will try to hide from to somewhere. You try to run away to hide. Maybe here theoretically we will find that it's so good non-self. But if one day you meditate and experience that the whole body disappeared, you'll be very scary. Elena, I think one day you whole body disappeared, you say, so scary. So if whole body disappeared, so who are going to travel in the whole world? All right, no, we're going to travel already, see. So meaning to say, many things that we base on the perception of the self. If the self gone, everything gone, so usually people got frightened one. Even though now we say, we want to experience the self, but if I let you eat a tablet and the self gone, I think you get frightened already. Okay, but anyway, here, that's why during the meditation, if you're able to reach to the the jhana, for the fine material jhana and the formless jhana, so they have to use the vipassana, go to analyze all this type of consciousness, so that you no more attachment to the fine material and the immaterial consciousness. Both, you won't attach it anymore. Since you won't attach it anymore, so your cell won't hide there. See or not? Basically, when we break, this we call essential self. Once you break it, then the body start, the cell want to hide to go to the fine material, and in the immaterial state, they try to hide there. See, so that's why for both of them, you have to use the skill of vipassana to go to analyze, to break the compactness. Like I mentioned just now, compactness of the continuity, then the compactness for the combination, then the compactness of the function. So all the time and space have been breakthrough by you, no place to run already. So the only place you can go is the Nibbana. Wonderful, right, Mr. Leong? So this is a good theory in Abhidhamma. I like it very much. Even though I keep repeat many times, but I like it. So that's why actually the way I see this skill is in Nikaya, in Abhidhamma, in Madhyamika, and in Yoga Charabhumi. All same, okay. But for Anti, it's too difficult already. So that's why when reborn to the Western Pure Land, Eastern Pure Land is still necessary. Our net must be big enough to cover different capacity. So for Anti, it's too tough. Maybe for Mrs. Leong, also a little bit difficult for Mrs. Leong, I think, what I mentioned just now. But for Mr. Leong, Elena, and Yokwah, I think you can comprehend very well what I said. Am I right? So for Mrs. Leong, maybe preferably should opt for the reborn pure, maybe, because Mrs. Leong is not the intelligent type people, analytical mind type people. So she can hardly understand what I try to describe the state. Am I right, Mrs. Leong? So go to the pure land, like you. Okay, joke only lah. So you just go and meditate. If you met a good master, they will guide you. If you got the affinity to meet the best master or meditation master, they will guide you very well. No worry, just go and try. Okay, so this is something I would like to emphasize. Is this two realms of the form and formless, you see or not? Here they use a different word, 5 outward moving bonds. So class, I want to say sorry. The terminologies here in Abhidhamma is quite different. Please try to adapt. But Mr. Leong, Elena, I think not much problem, right? Even though I say form, formless, and then sometimes I say the fine material sphere and immaterial sphere, you can catch it very well, right? Am I right?
Right, no problem.
Okay, very good. Okay, because when we go to Abhidhamma, all the terminology have to change again. Oh my God. Okay, but anyway, English, since you can master very well, so that's why I have to repeat many times, so that I can speak in a more fluent way, and then have to change all the terminology already. I work hard now. Every day I have to go through the English Abhidhamma many times. So won't pause I won't pause during my talk lah. Okay, class, let's take a look. So that is the terminology, you see. Here, 5 outward moving bond means what, see? The grid for the form and the formless. Here we call it as the 5 material and immaterial sphere. Then restlessness. So class, this restlessness is something we emphasize. Just if you have got the daydreaming, that's a restlessness already. Okay, you've got the daydreaming. And if let's say your restlessness involves some visual, so the occipital lobe will be involved. So class, please touch this part of the brain. Class, let's take a look. Okay, so this is where the occipital lobe play roles for seeing the things. All the image appear here. If let's say you do the kasina, you want to see the color, you close your eye, so it should be appear here. But if without a neuron, without a practice, nothing will appear. Okay, and with the help of the meditation, you can easily to develop the neuron here, then the whole image will appear. Okay, it's something to do. If let's say your restlessness involve the sound of music, it's something to do with the temporal lobe. Plus, you can touch here. This is where a temporal lobe. This is the temporal lobe. Temporal lobe. So that if you've got some defect here, there will be some hallucination in the sound. Must be some defect in temporal lobe. If the hallucination come in the form of the picture, might be something wrong in the occipital lobe. Okay, so all something to do. Nowadays, they use the MRI to check Everything has been reviewed already through the fMRI, all these things. Okay, let's take a look. Then here we mentioned arrogance, but class, this arrogance doesn't mean very axy not that one. Here the arrogance are more on the self. So the definition here, it wouldn't go to the pride because here it's about to become arahant already. So it's starting to do with the pride. It's more on the self already, egoist. Maybe we call it as egoism, something like that, very egoism. And then ignorance. So ignorance basically is the avijja. So just remember this word. Pali is still the best for this word avijja. Pali is still the best. Avijja, ignorance. Please write the avijja. This is Avijja Sutra. Okay, class, maybe you can just write both Sanskrit and the Pali at the same time. Yeah, please write down avijja. Okay. Mr. Leong, Elena, possible the Pali terms you have to take notes once you go to the meditation center. Sometimes they will mix the Pali and the English together, and some Burmese monk their English is not as good as their Pali. So make sure you can master well the terminology and have a good communication. Then avijja or avijja Sanskrit. Ignorance. Okay, so this is regards this. Here, let me see anything I've missed out. Arahant, killing all the defilement. Okay, so this is the first paragraph regards is the anagami before the anagami. So no need to repeat anymore. So now we go to the new paragraph again. Yes, Mr. Leong, can you read the passage? When the affliction, please.
When the afflictions are completely eliminated, all previous karma, which depended on being nurtured by afflictions to bring about its fruits, or whose karmic force previously depended on taking self-perception as center, is completely ended and becomes ineffective. As well, because no new karma is created, the bitter fruit of future rebirth and death will not be provided with any casual condition. So when this life ends, the arahant present body, which is born and dies, will become thus. The previous aggregates are extinct, and the later aggregates arise no more. And the arahant will enter nirvana without residue, where there is no further birth or extinction. The practice of Sravaka will has this as its ultimate resultant stage. Verse 110. They may be liberated by their wisdom or be liberated completely. Having the 6 supernatural power and 3 insights, the arahants are the superb fields of good fortune in the world. In the sutras, the arahants are said to be of 6 or 9 types. Here they will be described according to 2 broad categories, as emancipated by wisdom or by completely liberated, that is, emancipated by both concentration and wisdom. One should know that both concentration and wisdom are hindered by the afflictions. Thus, if emancipation arises, it is because one has been liberated from these obstructions. As the sutras often say, those without desires are liberated by their mind, that is concentration, and those without ignorance are liberated through wisdom. This means that if one has the power of wisdom to realize the nature of things, obstructions such as ignorance are eliminated, and if one has the quieting power of concentration, obstructions such as desire are eliminated. For example, worldly non-Buddhists are able to leave behind the afflictions of the desire realm and attain the first jhana. They are able to leave behind the afflictions of the first jhana and attain the second, third, and fourth jhana. When the afflictions of the real realm of forms become completely extinct, they are able to attain the state of infinite space of the formless realm, and eventually leave behind the afflictions of the state of nothingness. And they are able to attain the state of neither perception nor non-perception. But they are unable to leave the afflictions of the state of neither perception nor non-perception, and thus they are unable to be free from birth and death.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well,
Okay, class, let's take a look. Yeah, okay. Well, basically, once we talk about the Arahant, So before the last paragraph, just now we haven't finished. He said how karmic force previously depends on taking self-perception as center is completely ended. Okay, sometimes we might be asked by people that they say how basically if let's say even though we become Arahant, but we have an incalculable past life. So where are the karma gone? Okay, for the past incalculable karma, basically it doesn't gone. But since we already uproot the ignorance, so all the karma will be void. So this is how we explain. So we don't worry for the incalculable past life. We don't worry of the innumerable of karma, or we don't worry. Because avijja, ignorance, is the main cause, for the sustainability for all the karma. Once the ignorance gone, so all the karma will gone already. So you see, so this is how we try to resolve the incalculable past life and innumerable of karma. So once the first moment you become Arahant, so that whatever karma you create in the future, we call it as a kriya. Kriya meaning to say that it's not the karma anymore, which is something ineffective, whatever you do. So you see, once we become Arahant, you still will laugh, okay, or you still will walk, okay, you still will do, you still will meditate, whatever you still have to do, but or they don't carry any karmic effect. What you do, they are just a kriya without any function. So that's how we explain for the Arahant and the Buddha. So because this is the last life, there will be no more future life. If there's no more future life, so that's the best way. We try to try to explain why are they even though they're still working, they still speak something, they still they still the karma through the verbal thought and also the action, but why it doesn't work? Because all are the kriya and no more future life anymore for the Arahant. So class, this is what mentioned here. You see, no new karma is correct. So this whatever he did we will call it as a kriya in Abhidhamma. Plus you can write down the words kriya. We use it as a kriya. Kriya it's according to the Abhidhamma terminologies. Okay, kriya. Let's see. Kriya chitta means something. Let's see. Okay, means something. Okay, in Buddhism, okay, kriya chitta. Let's see. Major branch. Okay, as their canonical literature. So okay, kriya chitta. Okay, you can also click to view. Okay, no, I want to see the definition. It doesn't show me. Okay, maybe I just put the kriya would be the best way there. In Buddhism. Okay. Oh, you must go to the Kriya Tantra. Kriya Yoga. Okay, never mind. So class, you just write the Kriya and then you just write yourself. Non-function. Non-functional. That is the meaning of the Kriya. Specifically for Buddha and Arahant. Okay, specifically for Buddha and Arahant. Okay, so you see, the previous aggregate extinct, and the later aggregate arise no more. Okay, so this is how the Arahant, they are so beautiful. Okay, now we talk about the different categorization, different category of Arahant. Number one, you see, we got two type of Arahant basically. First type Arahant, they possess the jhana. They possess all the jhana, including 4 jhana and the 4 samadhi. So this we call it as a Jijie Torohan, meaning to say the Arahant who possess both the jhana and the wisdom. This type Arahant, they will possess psychic. They will have a psychic, then they are able to reach Nirodha Samadhi. Nirodha Samadhi meaning to say that it's a samadhi without any perception and the feeling. So they are the one. But if let's say class, if let's say you go to meditate, you feel that it's quite hard for you to attain any jhana, right? You can become you can reach the arahant state just solely by wisdom only. Yes, it is possible. But if let's say you don't have the nourishment from the jhana, you won't possess any psychic. That's the only different thing, and then you won't be able to attain the nirodha samadhi. So this is the difference. Because sometimes people they handicapped by the jhana. Some people maybe past life karma. It doesn't matter. You're still able to reach the arahant even though without the jhana. But of course, the best you can get the jhana. Okay, yeah. Let me finish explanation. So class, take a look. You see, two types: emancipation by wisdom or completely liberated. So the wisdom meaning to say is the without jhana, completely liberated meaning to say for both concentration and the wisdom. See or not? So we give them a name. Okay, if you are liberated by their mind, this is without desire. You are liberated by the wisdom, you are without the ignorance. So we give the name and then you see how, for example, they are able to leave behind affliction of the sensual realm and attain the first jhana. So this is just it's not much thing, like it's just tell you you must be able basically class, in order to reach the first jhana, you must be able to see the shortcoming of the sensual realm. Then you leave all the and then you will cut off all the affliction, then you come to the first jhana. And one from first jhana to the second jhana, you must be able to see the shortcoming of the first jhana, then you can leave the first jhana, go to the second jhana. So you want to proceed, you must to see the shortcoming for the present moment, then you have to know the advantage for your future, then you will proceed in this way. So remember, this is the skills are always apply. From the sensual to the jhana, and from jhana to the immaterial sphere. Yeah, Mr. Leong, you raise your hand, please.
Sifu, regarding this nirodha sampapati, is it that this is in the ninth jhana?
Life jhana, what does it mean, life jhana?
Nine.
Oh, nine jhana, yeah. It's begin the nine jhana. It's the last one. The nine jhana is the last one, just specifically for anagami and arahant only. Stratapan and also Sadagami. Okay, Stratapan and Sadagami, they are unable to reach this. It is unique for the third stage and fourth stage arahant. Okay, class, let me let you know. According to my teacher, the skill for the nirodha samadhi is still available. Please work hard trying to learn it from it. According to some commentary, the arahant prefer nirodha samadhi than the magga and bala. Why? The reason is in magga bala they still got so many mind and mental factor in the magga and bala chitta. But if you are in the nirodha samadhi, the state is totally without any other perception and the feeling, so it is more tranquil compared with the magga and bala. This is according to some commentary they will prefer that, because once you always in the magga bala, you may be always in the seeing the phenomena keep on rise and fall. Sometimes the arahant feel boring, Wow, everything you see, rise and fall, you feel boring. So instead, always facing this type of phenomena of rise and fall, so they will choose for being nirodha samadhi. That's the best. You will feel the totally tranquility without seeing any rise and fall from the five aggregate. Okay, next, let's take a look. Okay, let's see. Finished already here. Unable to lift the affliction. Yeah. Okay, now next paragraph. Yeah, Elena, your turn to read. In Buddhist.
In Buddhist disciples' practice, which is directed towards realization, there is liberation through both concentration and wisdom. One both awakens faultlessly wisdom and cuts through the confusions of understanding by relying upon the peripheral concentration or the 7 dependable concentrations. All things considered, there are great differences, however. Those who have practiced and become arahats by relying on the power of wisdom that completely sever the foundational root of ignorance, eradicating all the afflictions arising from the false perception of self, are all the same. But those who attain emancipation by relying on the power of concentration differ. If one follows the peripheral concentration or the first jhana to attain arahatship, then one will not be liberated from the obstruction beyond the first and second jhanas. Even if one attains the 4th jhanas and the 8th concentration, one still cannot completely be liberated from obstruction to concentration. Arahats who can attain the state of complete extinction of the sensation and thought, regardless of whether they do so through wisdom or concentration, have ultimate emancipation. When one attains concentration and wisdom, completely free from obstructions, one is called a completely liberated arahat. If one realizes the truth with wisdom but does not attain the state of complete extinction of sensation and thought, one is called an arahat liberated by wisdom. One can escape the bitter fruits of birth and death through relying on the wisdom that realizes the nature of things. It does not even matter that one's power of concentration is incomplete. Since the power of concentration of all arahats are not of the same level, they can be divided into several groups.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Why I said thank you to you, then you thank you me back, as a courtesy, not you are welcome. Okay, class, let's take a look. So what does it mean here? Okay, class, always remember the words 7 dependable concentration. Basically, for the Nikaya, in order to attain the Arahant, 7 dependable will be okay. But the last one, non-perception, non-perception, that one is the exception. That the samadhi is too strong to do the vipassana. So class always remember, the rest of the 7, they are called as a dependable. Why? Because they are good to attain to the vipassana, to attain to the nibbana. But basically, even though it's a 7, 4th jhana is still the best, or 5th jhana in Abhidhamma, because according to the Nikaya, a Buddha attain, attain Buddhahood is in the 4th jhana, all right? And then Buddha also enter nibbana in the 4th jhana. So the 1st jhana the Buddha attained during his childhood also is the 4th jhana. So 4th jhana is the balance between the samatha vipassana. If you can reach the 4th jhana, is the best. But anyway, you will be requested to practice the immaterial sphere consciousness. Why? You think why? Even though 4th jhana or 5th jhana is good enough, but you will still be requested to do the immaterial, the formless meditation skills. You think why? Yes, why? You think why?
Because nobody has an obstacle.
No, not really. Okay, so class, do you have an experience there or not? If let's say you finish your Form 5, right? Then you go to study your Form 6. So once you finish your Form 6, you come back to Form 5. Do you think Form 5 is getting easy for you? Right? Easy, right? Same only. So that's why the CRO will request you to practice the immaterial sphere of the jhana. The purpose not just to stay there, but they just want you to have a stronger, especially ekagata, one-pointedness. Then once you come back to the 4th jhana, your 4th jhana getting more stable. Just like people after finish the Form 6, when they come back to the Form 5, Form 5 is getting easier already. So this is their tactic. But of course, you see class, the right view is so important. If without the CRO to guide you, so you just go to the Arupa jhana and stay longer and create a strong karma. So later on, you will reborn there. So that is not right already. This is not our destination. So the best is still is the 4th jhana. Even though you reborn as a human again, so you just keep on practice. We reach the jhana and then go to the vipassana. Just keep on there. Okay, and then let's take a look. The power of wisdom that completely severes the foundation roots of the ignorance. You see, the power of wisdom is important. This power of wisdom, usually in Abhidhamma, we call it as a pala. Magga. Magga mean the path. The path. So this is one of the consciousness. Magga and pala. With Magga, Magga will severe the root of the ignorance. Even though the consciousness of the Magga, only one single thought is good enough to totally eradicate the karma. It's very strong on the Magga. The power of the Magga very strong. And next you see, if let's say, you see, the peripheral concentration on the 1st jhana to attain arahantship, you see, you are not liberated for the 1st, 2nd jhana, see or not? So that's why you see, you use the 1st jhana, then you attain arahant, but you haven't liberated the bond from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. So that's why you have to finish one by one all the jhana, and then you come back to remove the attachment to 2nd, 3rd, 4th jhana. That is the procedure you have to go through. This is quite a very detailed way. But anyway, if Mr. Leong, because you're exposed to many Theravada teachers, you just follow according their way. Here, Abhidhamma is very comprehensive and the detailed way. I don't think all the teachers will teach in this way. Okay, next, let's see. Completely, then one attain concentration and wisdom completely. You see, you're completely free from obstruction. Then we call you what? Completely liberated arahant. Completely liberated. Okay, it doesn't even matter that one's power concentration is incomplete. No, it doesn't matter. Even though concentration is not complete, but it's still good enough for you to become the arahant. Okay, next paragraph again. So whose turn to read? I think Mr. Leong, right? Yeah, Mr. Leong, please. Completely liberated.
Yokwa.
Yokwa, please. Okay.
Completely liberated arahats, needless to say, can attain the virtues of the 6 supernatural powers and the 3 insights. All arahats liberated by wisdom who have achieved the 4 fundamental jhanas can also develop these insights and powers. The 6 supernatural powers are magical transformation, device eye, device ear, knowledge of the minds of others, knowledge about previous existence, and the power to end force. With the power of magical transformation, one can change many into different shapes, become invisible or visible as one piece, and penetrate mountains, rivers, and stone walls. One can also travel underwater and underground, fly into the air, reach the moon and the sun, and so forth. With the power of the divine eyes, one can see things that are close or refined, near or far, in light or darkness, external or internal. In particular, one can see the form of the karma of sentient beings, whether they will be reborn in the heavens or on the evil destinies, and the like. With the power of the divine ears, one can hear all kinds of sounds near or far, understand different human languages, and even comprehends the sounds of the heavens, birds, and animals. With the knowledge of other minds, one knows the thoughts of other sentient beings. With the knowledge about previous existences, one knows the previous lives of sentient beings, with what kinds of karma they have created and the places from which they have come. With the power to end force, one can know the circumstances that liberate beings from afflictions and recognize whether one's own afflictions are completely overcome.
Okay, thank you so much. Why Yukwan never said thank you to me? Like Elena do.
Sifu, the thank you is to say thank you for giving me the chance to read.
Not thank you because I thank you. Tama, please finish, Mr. Liam. Okay, class, let's take a look. Here we talk about psychic, right? You see? Divine eye, magical transformation, divine ear, okay? Then read people mind, check people past life, check people future life. Class, all this magical psychic, what is the relationship between them and the time and space? What's the relationship? What is the relationship between the time and the space? Yeah, Mr. Leong, what do you think?
Sifu, I don't know.
You don't know. Hey, Mr. Leong, do you know this or not? Psychic, it means what? You play over the time and the space, am I right? Because
Yes.
we all bow by the time and space, right? Mr. Leong, you see, why I cannot read your mind? Because there's a space I cannot go through your heart. Why I can't see, I mean the solar system, why? Because it's too far away from me. Okay, why I cannot, I mean, why I have to, I mean, why I have to travel, I have to take the aeroplane because there was a space, what? But once you got the psychic, meaning to say that you play all the time and the space in the fingertip. You see or not? So that's why just now we mentioned once you reach the jhana, we will suppress the part of the bringer regards the time and the space. When you suppress it, meaning to say that you can play away. Mr. Leong, it's wonderful, But of course, we don't. So in a simple way that once the jhana you reach, of course, once you reach the jhana, you have to develop the skills to play all this. Because according to the Dharma, the scientists, they also noticed that actually, past, present, and future, they are all in the same time. All the information is in the same time. But just our mind create the time and space, and we subject to it. For those who attain to the jhana, if you're able to retrieve the future information, that is the one of the knowledge. If you're able to retrieve the information in your past life, that is other psychic. See or not? So meaning to say, once you got the jhana, you can play all this. But of course, we don't. Okay, Elena, what is the advantage if you use the psychic to travel the whole world without taking the plane, without chop the passport? You think what's the disadvantage?
No need to use money.
No, disadvantage. I mean, will you cause yourself trouble or not? You think, Elena, if you just travel in this way, you think will it cause trouble to you?
Yes and no, I would say it depends how you accept it. If you travel to space and you travel all the world and things like that, whether you are strong enough psychologically to accept it or not. If say you go everywhere and things like that, and then you see everybody, you see all the things, and then if you are also able to see your future, then that will be big problem.
Okay, the way I ask is if let's say you use a psychic to travel the whole world, what's the disadvantage? The only disadvantage I see is you cannot selfie and post on the Facebook. Am I right? Because some people check.
That is okay. That's okay.
They go to say, hey, how come you go to America? Then you do check your passport, all these things, you see or not? You got to travel for yourself, you see? So please don't use psychic to travel the whole world. Use the aeroplane, now be normal. Am I right? You cause yourself trouble.
But Sifu, if you use psychic to travel, will you be able to take pictures?
Can. Yeah. I mean, once, for example, now it's America. Okay, here's America. Okay, so I myself will be solid here. So I will take picture. In the back as a Statue of Liberty. But the problem is once you post on the Facebook, everything, people will say, hey, you good to travel. But how come finally the FBI to check you? No stamping in the passport, no all the record. So there will be trouble. See.
FBI don't bother about Elena lah. I don't have 42 billion.
What I mean, if they go the border, but basically, actually, they are not the one who border. It might be the demon, because if you have the psychic to fly here and there, they also got demon to obstruct you. So that's why you must have a double psychic. You might have the clairvoyance to see things before you fly. Because people, they can obstruct you, you see. So even though you get the psychic, we are not the only one. They got so many demons, they got so many deva, they also will play with you, you see. So I think that is another issue. Yeah.
But Sifu, why the demon will obstruct me if I got the psychic to travel?
Oh,
They
if
want to
let's say,
follow me also.
no, maybe the past life, you already create enemy already. In the past life, you create
okay.
the enemy. So they will obstruct you. But of course, the fighting, no people can
But-
see one.
But then as an arahat, you already clear all your what already, what?
Yes, of course, but Arahant still will sick, back pain, here pain, because the body is still subject to the karma, you see. So, meaning to say that things will still happen, so you still will admit to the hospital, you still have to pay the insurance, everything, even though you're Arahant. Because the
Okay.
physical body problem, so same, so that's why, just a joke only, but meaning to say that even though you got the psychic, basically we just use for bodhisattva purpose only. We don't use it, just simply just use it, or you will create trouble for yourself. Yeah, Mr. Leong, yeah, please.
Sifu, what about the scientist who's mentioned about this parallel line?
Parallel, again, what?
Parallel time.
Parallel time, psychic parallel time.
Yeah.
Can you further explain psychic parallel time?
That's why I don't know. Because they say that there'll be actually two different worlds, but the time will be parallel with each other, but we are in different spheres or realm.
That one, they will ask Einstein already. It's not Buddhism. I think it's a what? 5 dimensions, 6 dimensions, something like that, right? Yeah, that one you have to ask us Einstein already. I don't know. Yeah, because but I found that Einstein, they are so smart. I don't know how they don't meditate. They say time and space is created by the mind. I don't know how they get the conclusion. They'll be so conclusive. Mr. Leong, they don't meditate. How come they know? Just mathematically, you can prove it. I don't know how they do it. They're very smart.
That's why the mathematics and the quantum physics, they are very, very excellent.
But I think it's good we can use it to explain Buddhism, because if we don't explain, we become superstitious. How come all these things happen, right?
Right.
It is good. Okay, that's for the class for today.